Have you ever woken up to find almost all of your money gone? Disappeared from your account, just like that? That's what happened to me. One day I checked my phone and saw our savings account only had $8,400 instead of $53,500. 3 years of hard work, extra shifts, and saying no to fun things, all gone in a flash. But what my husband did next was even worse, and the secret behind it would change our lives forever. I met Ryan at my friend Sarah's backyard barbecue in Colorado Springs. He seemed perfect. He was handsome with kind eyes that wrinkled when he laughed. He had a good job selling tech stuff, and he paid attention to everything about me. "I can't believe you remembered I can't eat strawberries," I said when he gave me a plate of desserts on our third date. "I remember everything about you, Anna," he said with a real smile that made my heart beat fast. We dated for 2 years. Then we got married at Garden of the Gods with big red rocks standing tall behind us. My dad cried as he walked me down the aisle. "I've never seen you look happier, sweetheart," Dad whispered as he kissed my cheek. The wedding party was magical, but the real magic came after, planning our future together. We rented a small 2-bedroom apartment while working toward our dream, having our own home. "We need to save money," Ryan said one night, looking at money charts on his computer. "If we each save $500 every month, in 3 years we'll have enough money for a down payment on a house." So that's what we did. I worked extra shifts at Memorial Hospital where I was a nurse. Ryan stayed late at his tech company to get bonuses. Instead of going to restaurants, we cooked meals at home. Instead of flying to beaches for vacation, we drove to nearby lakes for the weekend. "One day we'll have a backyard for barbecues like the one where we met," Ryan would say when I looked at travel websites. Those 3 years were hard but had a purpose. My friend Jessica questioned our choices during our monthly wine night. "You guys never go anywhere anymore," she complained, swirling her glass. "Life's too short to wait to enjoy it." "We're not waiting," I said. "We're investing in our future. The right home will be worth these short-term sacrifices." I didn't know that all those extra shifts, all those nights I fell asleep super tired from working 12 hours straight, all those times I said no to shopping with friends, all of it was building a future that would disappear because of one betrayal. It was a normal Tuesday in July. I was on my lunch break at the hospital looking at my phone while eating my packed lunch, another way to save money. I decided to check our joint savings account, something I did sometimes to help me feel good about working. But instead of the $53,500 I expected to see, the number I had been adding up in my head with each deposit, the screen showed $8,400. I blinked hard, thinking I must be seeing it wrong. I refreshed the page, same number. I logged out and back in. Still $8,400. My breathing got faster as I looked at the list of money going in and out, my hands shaking so badly I had to try 3 times to tap the right place. There it was. Someone took out $27,600 3 days ago, and another $17,500 a month before that. The break room suddenly felt too small. My coworker Diane saw my face. "Anna, are you okay? You look very pale." I couldn't answer her. I walked outside to the parking lot and called Ryan, my heart beating so hard I could feel it in my throat. "Did you take money from our savings account?" I asked the moment he answered, my voice very quiet. The silence that followed told me everything. "I was going to tell you tonight," he finally said, his voice too calm. "Mark needed help." Mark, Ryan's younger brother who lived in Phoenix, the family member who always seemed to have some kind of problem. $45,000? I whispered, holding the phone very tight. Then I screamed, "That's 3 years of our savings, Ryan! Without even talking to me about it?" "He was going to lose his house," Ryan said, getting defensive. "The bank was going to take it away. What was I supposed to do? Let my brother's family have nowhere to live?" I leaned against my car, suddenly feeling dizzy. "We need to talk about this tonight," I said before hanging up. The rest of my workday was a blur. I almost gave the wrong medicine to a patient, and my boss Kelly pulled me aside. "What's going on, Anna? This isn't like you." I started crying right there at the nurse's desk, something I'd never done in my 5 years at the hospital. "My husband just emptied our house savings without telling me," I cried as Kelly took me to a private room. "Oh, honey," she said, rubbing my back. "I've been through something like this with my ex. Take the rest of the day off. Your patients need you at your best, and right now, you need to deal with this." When I got home, Ryan was waiting with food from Señor Manuel's, my favorite Mexican restaurant. An obvious peace offering that only made me more angry. How dare he spend our little money left on expensive takeout after what he'd done? I know you're upset, he started before I could even put down my purse. But you have to understand, family comes first. The way he said it, like it was so obvious and should end all talking about it, was what finally made me explode. Family? I screamed, throwing my purse across the room. We are family, Ryan! That money was for our future, our home. I worked extra hours for 3 years for that money. Ryan stepped back, clearly shocked by my yelling. I had always been the calm one in our relationship. Mark really needed it, he begged. The bank was going to take their house. Lisa and the kids would have nowhere to go. So, you decided that our future didn't matter? I was shaking now, with tears running down my face. All those extra work days, all those times I came home so tired I couldn't even eat dinner, that meant nothing to you? It's just money, Ryan said, his tone way too calm. We can save it again. Would you really want me to pick our future house over my brother's actual home? I stared at him in shock. It's not just money. It's trust. It's respect. It's 3 years of our lives. We argued for hours. Ryan slept on the couch that night, his choice, not mine. I stayed awake until morning, wondering how the man I thought I knew could hurt me so badly. I didn't know yet that this was just the start of a nightmare that would test not just our marriage, but how I felt about myself. The next few weeks were hard. Ryan tried to act like everything was normal, but I couldn't forget what happened. Every time I looked at him, I thought about the future we'd lost. My friend Jessica came over with wine when I told her what happened. I hate to say this, she said carefully, filling my glass again, but doesn't Mark always have money problems? Hasn't Ryan helped him out before? Small amounts, I said. 1,000 here, 500 there, nothing like this. Jessica looked worried. Anna, have you ever met Mark's wife? Have you seen their house? A few times at family parties. They always come to Colorado, though. We've never visited them in Phoenix. Don't you think that's strange? Jessica asked. In 4 years, Ryan's never taken you to see where his brother lives? Her questions made me start to wonder about things I hadn't thought of before. I tried to move forward, saying we should talk to a money helper to make a new savings plan, but Ryan didn't want to. We don't need to pay someone to tell us how to save money, he said rudely at breakfast one morning. We just put money aside like we did before. But I noticed Ryan wasn't putting money in our almost empty savings account every month like he should. Some months he'd put in the full $500, other months nothing at all. When I asked him why, he always had an excuse. Sales are down this quarter, or I had unexpected expenses. I started looking more at our mail, our money, and our credit card bills. That's when I found it. A bill from a credit card I didn't know about with Ryan's name on it. The card had over $12,000 of debt. My hands shook as I opened the envelope. The bill showed many big cash withdrawals over the past few months. Looking at the dates, I saw the first big withdrawal happened around the same time Ryan took money from our savings account. When I asked him about it that evening, he got very angry right away. "You're going through my mail now?" he yelled, grabbing the bill from my hand so hard that it cut my finger. "That wasn't what I meant to do," I said, sucking my bleeding finger, trying to stay calm. "But I saw the amount, Ryan. $12,000, what's going on?" Ryan walked back and forth in our small living room like a trapped animal. "This is exactly why I didn't tell you. I knew you'd get too upset." Too upset? I felt myself getting just as angry as him. Finding out my husband has secretly put us both an extra $12,000 in debt isn't getting too upset. After arguing for an hour, he finally told the truth. The over $45,000 from our savings hadn't been enough to save his brother's house. Ryan had used the secret credit card to give Mark even more money. "I couldn't tell you," he finally said, falling onto the couch. "You were already so upset about the savings." I stood there looking at this person who didn't seem like my husband anymore. "This can't happen again," I said firmly. "We need to agree right now that all money decisions above a certain amount need to be talked about together." Ryan nodded, looking sorry. "You're right. I should have talked to you. It won't happen again." I wanted so badly to believe him. But the worst lie was still to come, and when I found out the real reason behind Mark's constant need for money, it would break what little trust was left between us. For a few weeks, things got better. Ryan started putting money in our savings again, and we even made a plan to talk to a money helper. Then came Thanksgiving. We had planned to visit my parents in Denver for the holiday, but right before the trip, Ryan said he needed to fly to Phoenix to see his family instead. "Mark's having a hard time," he told me during dinner. "Losing his house really hurt him." I was sad, but I understood. "Okay, I'll drive to my parents by myself." "Actually," Ryan stopped, moving food around on his plate, "I was hoping you could skip your family this year and come with me. Mark and Lisa could really use our help right now." Something in how he said it made me worry. "Is that the only reason you want me to come?" Ryan wouldn't look at me. After I asked more questions, he told the truth. He had promised Mark more money, another $5,000 that we didn't have. "You're still planning to give him more?" I yelled, standing up so fast my chair fell over. "After everything that happened, we just started saving again." "It's not that much," Ryan said, getting mad and standing up too. "Just $5,000 to help them move to a better place." "Not that much?" I screamed with angry tears in my eyes. "Do you know how many extra workdays I'd have to do to save that, while you're giving away our future again?" "You're being selfish," Ryan said angrily, his face getting red. "This is family we're talking about." "What about our family?" I asked, hitting the table so hard the plates jumped. "What about the home we were saving for, the future we planned together?" "That can wait," he said like it didn't matter. "Mark needs help now." I felt something break inside me, the last bit of trust I had been holding on to. "If you give Mark any more of our money," I said very quietly, "we're going to have big problems, Ryan. And I mean big." He left that night, slamming the door so hard that a picture of our wedding day fell from the wall and broke, just like what was happening to our marriage. I drove to my parents' home in Denver alone for Thanksgiving, trying to hide how upset I was. But moms always know. "What's really going on, Anna?" Mom asked as we washed dishes after dinner. "And don't say nothing again." The worry in her eyes made me break down, and I told her everything while crying. "Oh, sweetheart," she said, giving me a hug that smelled like cranberry sauce and her lavender perfume. "I'm so sorry." My father, hearing part of what we said, came into the kitchen. "I never liked how that boy talked about money," Dad said, looking serious. "Too casual about important things." "What do I do, Dad?" I asked, feeling like a little kid again. He put his hands on my shoulders. "Lying about money is still lying, Anna. You need to protect yourself." His words stayed with me during the long drive back home. When Ryan came back from Phoenix 2 days later, I knew right away that he'd done it again. I could see the guilt on his face. "How much this time?" I asked, standing in our living room with my arms crossed. He couldn't even look at me. "4,000, but it's the last time, I promise." I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I was past that now. "Ryan," I said very calmly, "I can't do this anymore. Your brother is a grown-up. His money problems are not our job to fix, especially not when it hurts our own future." "What are you saying?" he asked, finally looking worried. "I'm saying I need some time to think about our marriage," I answered, already walking to our bedroom where I'd hidden a packed bag. "You've broken my trust over and over, and I'm not sure what to do next." That night I stayed with Jessica, crying on her couch as she stroked my hair. "I feel so stupid," I cried. "How could I not see this coming?" "Because you trusted him," Jessica said simply. "That's what marriage is supposed to be about." During the week I stayed at Jessica's place, I did something I should have done months earlier. I talked to a money advisor by myself. "In cases like this," she told me during our private meeting, "it's important to protect yourself. Joint bank accounts can be emptied by either person with no legal way to get it back." She told me to open a separate savings account in just my name and start building an emergency fund that Ryan couldn't touch. It felt sneaky and wrong, but after what happened, it seemed needed to keep me safe. When I came home after my week away, Ryan was surprisingly quiet. He'd had time to think too. "I miss you," he said when I walked through the door, his eyes red from what looked like days without much sleep. "And I've been thinking about everything. I know I messed up." We talked for hours that night, more honestly than we had in months. I explained how his actions made me feel betrayed and not important. He admitted that he couldn't think clearly when it came to his family. "I want to make this work," he said finally, reaching for my hand across the kitchen table. "Tell me what you need from me." What I didn't know then was that the worst news was still coming. A secret so shocking it would force Ryan to face the truth he'd been avoiding for years. I need 3 things, I told Ryan, pulling my hand away. First, we need to be totally open about money, no hiding anything. He nodded slowly. Second, we need help from counselors, both for our marriage and our money. He nodded again. And third, I paused, knowing this would be hard for him. I want my own savings account that only I can use. Ryan looked sad. You don't trust me. No, I said honestly. Not with our money, not anymore. You'll have to earn that trust back. After some arguing, Ryan agreed to what I asked. We found a marriage counselor who knew about money problems and made our first visit. During our first meeting, Dr. Brennan was very direct. Lying about money can hurt a marriage just as much as cheating, she told us clearly. It breaks the trust that holds a couple together. Ryan moved in his seat looking uncomfortable. I was just trying to help my brother. But what did it do to your marriage? Dr. Brennan asked. The next day, I opened my own savings account. I started putting some of each paycheck into it. I wasn't hiding money from Ryan. He knew about the account. But I needed to feel safe knowing all our money for the future couldn't vanish overnight. We also made a budget together with help from our money advisor. Ryan agreed he wouldn't give more than $200 to family without talking to me first. My friend Jessica was still worried when we met for coffee a month later. So you're staying with him? She asked, stirring her drink hard. I'm giving him a chance to show he can change, I said, but I'm keeping myself safe this time. I hope he's worth it, Jessica said, sounding doubtful. Just remember, people don't often change who they really are. Her words stayed with me over the next few months as we got used to our new money situation. Ryan's credit card debt meant we had to cut back even more. No takeout food, no new clothes. I worked extra shifts on weekends, so I barely saw Ryan just to help catch up. One night, I came home from working 16 hours to find Ryan sitting at the kitchen table looking at his phone with a strange face. What's wrong? I asked, too tired to change my work clothes before sitting down. Mark just called, Ryan said slowly. He needs $8,000. He lost his job again. I got tense right away, feeling suddenly wide awake. This was the moment of truth. Would all our work, all our counseling, all our new rules mean anything? I waited without speaking. This was Ryan's test, and I needed to see what he would do. I know what you're thinking, he said after a long time, and you're right, we can't keep saving him. I felt so relieved. So, what are you going to do? I'll call him back and tell him we can't give him that kind of money, Ryan said firmly. But maybe we could help him find help with job training or unemployment money. I went to him and gave him a big hug. That sounds perfect. For the first time in months, I felt a little hope that we might actually save our marriage. But the real test and the shocking truth about Mark was still to come. For many months, Ryan kept his word to Mark. When his brother called, and he called a lot, Ryan gave advice and support but no money. To my surprise, this new way of helping actually made their relationship better. Instead of just giving money, Ryan helped in real ways, like fixing Mark's resume and telling him about jobs. Then came the night that changed everything. I was grading papers for my nursing class when Ryan's phone rang. He answered it in the kitchen, but I could tell something was very wrong. What do you mean, gambling debts? Ryan said loudly from the kitchen. Mark, what are you talking about? I put down my pen and listened. How long has this been going on? A pause. 5 years? Are you kidding me? Ryan's voice got louder with each word. I went to the doorway and watched my husband walk back and forth in our small kitchen, grabbing his hair in worry. So the house problem, the lost jobs, all of it was because of gambling? Another pause. Who is threatening you? Loan sharks? Real loan sharks? Mark? Ryan saw me in the doorway, his face very pale. I'm putting you on speaker, he told Mark. Anna needs to hear this. For the next 20 minutes, we listened in shock as Mark told us everything. His gambling problem started 5 years ago with betting on sports. Then it got worse with online poker and trips to casinos. The house problem was real, but it wasn't because he lost his job or had doctor bills like he said. It was gambling debts. And now he was in trouble with some very scary people who had given him loans when real banks wouldn't. I never meant for it to get this bad, Mark cried through the phone. I kept thinking I could win it all back, just one big win to fix everything. Ryan's face changed from shock to anger. So the $60,000 we gave you, all of our savings and more, Where did that money go? Mark's voice was very quiet. Some to the bank, but most to the guys I owed. No one spoke for a while. Ryan stared at the phone like it was a snake. My wife worked extra hours for 3 years for that money, Mark, Ryan finally said, his voice shaking with anger. Anna gave up trips, worked on weekends, came home very tired night after night, all for a future that you took. I'm sorry, Mark began. Be quiet, Ryan yelled, hitting the counter so hard that a glass fell and broke. You lied to me. You made me lie to my wife. You almost ruined my marriage. I had never seen Ryan like this, his face twisted with anger, with tears running down his face. Ryan, please. Mark tried again. No, I'm done, Ryan said, his voice suddenly very cold. Don't call me for money again. Don't call me at all. Fix your own life for once. He ended the call and stood there, breathing hard, his shoulders shaking. I walked to him slowly, not sure what to say. Before I could speak, he turned and hugged me very tight. I'm so sorry, Anna, he cried into my hair. I didn't know. I promise, I didn't know. I held him as he broke down, years of always helping his brother falling apart. After that night, Ryan changed in ways I hadn't thought possible. He blocked Mark's number and told his parents exactly why. They were very sad, but agreed with Ryan's choice to stop talking to Mark. Mom actually thanked me, Ryan told me, looking confused after a long phone call with his mother. She said she'd been helping Mark too much too, and it had to stop. It's been nearly a year since our big money problem. Ryan and I are doing much better now with our money and our feelings. My own savings account now has more than $15,000. Our shared account is growing too. We both put money in it every month. The biggest change is how we talk to each other. We don't avoid talking about money anymore. We talk openly about our money and make plans together. During one of our talks, Ryan surprised me. I was thinking, he said, would you maybe use some of your savings to invest? I found some CDs that could earn good money. In the past, Ryan would have just done it without asking me. Now he asked what I thought first. This showed how much he had changed. I'll look into it, I said. And I did. I put some of my savings into those CDs, and they paid good interest. About Mark, Ryan's brother, we heard he finally got help for his gambling problem. Ryan still kept his rule, no talking to Mark and no giving him money. But he did tell his parents about places that could help Mark. Last month we got something in the mail, a $500 check from Mark with a note. The first of many. I will make this right. Ryan and I had dinner at the Melting Pot to celebrate. That's where we had our first date. I was afraid you would leave me, Ryan said during dinner. When you stayed at Jessica's house, I thought you might not come back. I did think about leaving, I said honestly, but I'm glad I stayed. He held my hand across the table. Me too. I'm sorry it took such a big problem for me to see what I might lose. Last week we applied for a home loan. Our savings isn't as big as before, but it's getting there. With our steady jobs and better money habits, the loan officer seemed hopeful. As we left the bank, Ryan squeezed my hand. Thank you for not giving up on us, he said. I know it would have been easier to walk away. Looking back, I see that our money crisis helped our marriage grow stronger. It made us work on trust and talk about what matters most. Sometimes the hardest lessons help us the most. What feels like the end can actually be the start of something better and stronger. Our house fund is growing again, this time with clear rules, good talking, and being honest with each other. But even better, we're building a stronger marriage that can handle tough times. And that's worth more than any amount of money.